Hi everybody, you're very welcome to this Friday, and today we have a wonderful team headed up with Kay, and they're going to talk to you about strategies you can adopt when working with charities. Now, we realize that everyone's reality right now is a little different. So for example, in the UK and Ireland right now, we're on a 12-week business lockdown. There's parts of the US that are still open for business, and then there's other parts of the US that aren't open for business. So they're going to bring you strategies which you can adopt now in your business if it's open, but also strategies that you can work on now and plan and work out a plan for when we're back to business. So without further ado, I am going to hand over to Kay.
Good morning. And first of all, Ronan, from all of us here that are on board this morning and photographers across the country, across the world, actually, we appreciate you and your team working to give us this platform to come together to be able to assist other photographers. For those of you that have listened in to past seminars like this, what we're going to be doing is sharing different ideas of how we are involved with different charitable operations. You'll hear things that people are, or those of us that are on right now, will be doing after the crisis is done and the social distancing is taken away, and we're ready to be able to start right in and get going. So we're doing planning right now, but then you're also going to hear from a few people that are currently doing activities and charitable organization, because it's something that they've been doing all along and are continuing to lead. I also want you guys that are listening in to make sure you do write down a few things. First of all, the idea that we can use this period of time as a gift of time, and taking advantage of the fact that we are forced to, in some regards, to do our best to work on what it is that can make a difference for ourselves, our neighbors, our community, and the world, and also to remember that we are better together. That's been something that you'll see a hashtag floating around our industry. It's a great hashtag to use. With that, I am going to start right across here. In terms of my grid, I'm going to start with Bert Benke. Bert, I'm going to have you hop on in and tell us about what you're up to.
Hey, Bert Benke here. Kay wanted us to all tell a little bit about each other. I'm a second generation studio owner, 64-year-old business. One of the greatest things that I wanted to get involved with this group for is that our studio's had a charitable strategy for 50 years. It's not something that we just jump into to fill business when we need it, which is a great way to do it too. But we're here to make sure that we're always part of the community, part of the charitable giving. I'm very involved in our community and PPA and the photographic industry and everything. Is that good, Kay? Keep it short.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess just to tell you a little bit about that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with you, Bert. Yeah. Go ahead and jump right in.
Okay. You know, I've been in this industry about 45 years now. Hi, Howard. 5 years now, and it's a lifelong obsession and profession for me. I'm real involved in things. When I get involved in things, I kind of seem to jump in all the way. When I got involved with PPA, I jumped in all the way. When I'm the founder and was the executive director of PPA Charities up until a few years ago when it ceased operations. So I've been very involved in the charitable industry. My new favorite slogan is, "How can I help you?" which I think maybe any of you that watch New Amsterdam know that that's kind of a catchphrase they use in there. And I think you're going to hear a lot of that today from the different people. It's I think what we should always be doing and what we like to do. And am I still finishing up with what I'm doing, Kay, or are you putting me
first?
I'm
going to take each of you, introduce who you are, how long you've been in business, and what it is that you'd like to share with us.
Oh, and I'm going to be sharing strategies on how to, as I kind of let off with, it's the long game about how make sure your business has a strategy in philanthropy, and to make sure you're already positioned like that, so it's not jumping into something to take to try to jumpstart your business. I think you need to have a part of your value system, part of your business plan is to be involved in charitable marketing. You know, it's been proven pretty much that you have an 85% better opinion from the public if you have some sort of charitable involvement. So that's what I'll be talking about.
Okay, Lori, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us how long you've been in business and what you're going to share today.
Hey guys, I'm Lori Nordstrom. I've been in the business for over 20 years now, almost 25. And I'm excited to share with you guys a campaign that I've been using for years and years and years, and something that you can actually do right now without selling, but just staying in front of your clients and your community during this time, which that's been my crisis message, is just staying in front of clients and community. And so I want to make sure that everything I'm doing and the actions that I'm taking is staying within the energy of that message, so that I just keep showing up. I think that's really important for right now. And so yeah, excited to share that with you guys.
Great. Okay. And Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to share today.
I am Matt Myers. I founded So Many Angels. We take photos of kids with cancer and transform them into whatever they want to be. We've been going for about 2 years now, and we photographed over 100 kids so far, and we are at a complete stop because the kids we photograph are already immunocompromised, and we want to stay away and keep them healthy. I'll be talking about a little bit how you can find ways to help out if you're drawing a blank. If these other great people don't give you inspiration of what you think you can help with, I'm going to try to steer you there, or I'm going to try to get you to edit for us.
Awesome. All right. That sounds great. Shawn, tell us about yourself and how long you've been in business.
Hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Shawn Lee. I'm the owner of Shawn Lee Studios in a suburb of Detroit, Michigan. I've been in business for 16 years as a full-time photographer. And one of the ways that I've gotten there, and I guess one of the claims to fame, is that I was able to make business happen as a photographer when the city of Detroit was going through bankruptcy. And what was really important about that is the investment that we made in community and kind of how we did that. So I'll be talking about how the photographer should engage in their own community to become relevant cross-platform, other than just a photographer. But the payoff is that you get tons of business because you are relevant and authentic and giving back.
Great. Perfect. David, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is David Doyle. I'm from the UK. Our studio is around about 30 miles north of London, in Bedfordshire. And we've been in business 30 years. We've got a beautiful home studio in our garden. We used to be on the high street, but we moved about 7 years ago. Today I'm talking about how you can do gift cards or gift vouchers, as we call them in the UK, and working with charities. And again, it's same as Damien McGilcuddy said, it's the gift of time that we are actually giving. And that's really what I want to try to hone in on today, and how we actually use that.
Great. Karen, go ahead and tell us about yourself and what you're going to share today. Karen, there you go.
You're talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We just started our 31st year in business, and we are a boutique style studio. And I'm going to talk about a project that I've been working on for about 11 years now, photographing breast cancer survivors, and how you can maybe work on that project now while we're in down mode, and give them some ideas and things like that.
Great. And also too, for those of you that are listening in right now, feel free to pop any questions on. Ronan's going to be kind of fielding those, and we're going to get to them all at the end, as well as being able to follow up with you on Facebook. So circling back around again, first of all, Kay Eskridge from Phoenix, Arizona. I've been in business, and I can't believe this, since 1985. So Bert, I think that makes me chasing right behind you on the longevity scale. But that's great, because one of the nice things about this panel is you can see that we all are obviously doing what we love, and we are successful in the careers that we're enjoying being a part of. So Bert, go ahead and tell us now a little bit more in depth about what you'd like to share.
Is that me, Kay?
Yep, Bert.
It had me looking last. That's why I was surprised. Okay. You're always surprising me. I really like that.
I know, it's my goal.
So anyway, I wrote some notes down here, so I want to make sure that I kind of touch on all of them. And obviously, all of us will be available for questions and answers later. But you've got a great inspirational group here that are going to come across with all kind of great ideas and ways that you can implement them in your business ways that you can implement them in your life. I like the way Shawn talks about community, because I think that's where charity is all about. It's a community, and there's a community here that's going to share lots of great ideas with you. But the one thing that I want to call it, like I mentioned earlier, I'm in it for the long game. I'm in it to be charitable as part of my personality, as part of my business plan, as part of my civic duty. And I think because of that, it's apparent to the people I work with that when I do charitable marketing, and for years working with, especially with PPA Charities, people would tell me the question or say to me, doesn't it seem weird that you want to, like, charitable marketing? That means like bringing business into your business for charity or for your own benefit. And my answer to that all the time is, if I can't stay in business, I can't be charitable. So it's important in my business mix that not only am I involved in charity, but I do things to bring business to me so that I continue my mission itself. And I want you to instead of, in my part of it, and you're going to hear lots of good ideas on certain promotions, but I want you to think about it as a strategy instead of just a one-time. In about a week or 2 or 4 or 12, as Ronan said in the UK there, these people are going to need our help. So don't always think of what we need to do right now. Yes, we can go out and we can support the local restaurants and buy gift cards and everything, but in about 12 weeks or 14 weeks or the end of the year, they're going to still need us. So we need to stay engaged. And that's what my message is going to be today. Just stay engaged with your local charity, whatever that might be. So as I mentioned, there's lots of great ideas that are going to jumpstart your business now, but let's look about down the road and how you can start doing these type of things. I mentioned that I ran PPA Charities for years. Well, what we've done is we've launched Photographers for Charity, which is the new charity I'm running, which is kind of a continuation of PPA Charities. If you've ever been involved with that, we're doing a lot of the same things. We're working with Marathon Press to develop marketing programs to allow photographers to basically, it's no-brainers. You can follow this guide and you can say, I want to do a fundraiser for, as Karen mentioned, breast cancer. She's going to give you some good ideas on that. But you can apply that to this and it'll take you step by step by step. It's been created by industry leaders so that even if you don't know how to do this and you're unsure of how to do it, it can walk you through the whole process. We offer that to our members. We offer that to people that sign up for the program. That's our way of fundraising for our charity. But, now how and I jump around. If those of you that don't know this, and Kay can tell you this all the time, I just jump around when ideas hop into my head. But we do things like Celebration of Smiles Day, which we were planning this April, and we're starting a new pet promotion this year in July that have been put on hold. Why? I think we all know why. That's why we're here. The coronavirus has kind of affected everybody. But we'll still be doing a Portrait Month event in October. Marathon Press is developing all this information to help us as an industry to be able to execute these promotions that we do. As I mentioned, it'll walk you through step by step. And what it does, and what I'm doing, not only is it positioning my studio in a great way, but it's positioning our industry in a great way. For instance, with PPA Charities, people would raise $20 or $50 or $200 or maybe $1,000 to contribute to charity. But as a group, when we put it together over the 20 years in existence, we raised $1.5 million for charity, which everybody kind of took ownership of. And by all of us taking ownership of it, it gave us the direction to keep moving forward and to keep doing more good. So this is kind of how I raise with the Photographers for Charity. We raise funds to help other charities. We're going to be helping charities like Matt Meier's with So Many Angels. Matt does hands-on working with the kids. Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep does hands-on working with the grieving parents and things like that. Special Kids Photography teaches photographers how to photograph children that are less fortunate and a little bit that have disabilities. So that's their role. Their role is hands-on. Our role, and the role I've taken on, is to help support them so that they can go to the conventions and reach out to their volunteers. So that's what we're going to be doing in our charity. And but the whole message and what it all comes down to is that as a community, we need to be proactive in helping others. I'm looking at this guy that's shaking his head right below me in that Detroit Tigers hat, and I'm a Chicago White Sox fan, which makes it tough for me. But but all the good that he does in his community positions him in a great way. And that's the message that I know he's going to tell you, but the message that I want to let go in our industry. Don't always just do it for your business. Do it for yourself, because it makes you think of things differently. It makes you get involved differently, and it makes you make a difference in your community. I'm involved this year. I'm my Chamber of Commerce president. Don't forget things like that. Get involved in your community. We're going to give away over $35,000 this year in scholarships and things like that. So as long as you have a presence in the charitable arena, people will relate that back to your business. And I'm not sharing specific ideas because there's people on here that are much better. I'm seeing her over here and over here and over there and over there. So just make it a strategy for your business to be charitable.
Great, that's perfect. Make it a strategy for your business. That's awesome, Bert. Thank you. David, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit, about 5 minutes, what you've got with the gift cards or vouchers?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. So we hooked up with a local hospital that's near to us, and around about 5,000 babies are born in the hospital. It's probably the third largest hospital in the UK for baby births, and they have a fundraising department, and they came to me with an idea that they wanted to actually do gift cards or gift vouchers, and we designed a gift voucher for them to actually sell. And the way the voucher works is we print the vouchers, and I have a sample here. It's DL. It's 99 millimeters by 210, and it fits straight into a DL envelope. Now, these are generic vouchers. Now, with a generic voucher, it's only got our branding on there, but it says charity voucher. So this can be adopted and adapted and molded to any charity that you actually want to work with. So at the moment, we're working with a number of charities because we started working with the hospital. They had a number of the vouchers. We were approached by other charities and said, can we have vouchers too? And I went, sure. How many are you looking for? And we gift our time in the studio. So it must be a family portrait session. It must be at least 2 generations. But we do 3, 4, and 5 generation family portraits as well. We find these very, very lucrative for us because obviously you can do a lot of different styles of portraiture for them and a lot of different combinations of family groups. Now, on the back of each of the vouchers that we actually have, we have an expiry date, and we also have a gift code. The code is actually to the charity it relates to. So with a generic voucher, we write the codes in, they're put onto a spreadsheet, and with the spreadsheet, we know where the vouchers are coming from, because when the customer rings up and says they've got a portrait voucher that they've bought from the charity for £25, which is about $30, and that entitles them to a framed 7x5 portrait of their family. There's no obligation for them to purchase anything else. They may wish to do so, but they don't have to if they don't wish to. They're coming in for an experience. So there is no obligation, but obviously it is a good revenue for us that we actually work with. We even had one lady from Red Cross UK who came in on one of our charity vouchers, and at the end of the viewing session she said, is there a way you can work with us? Is that okay? I said, yes. I said, how many vouchers do you want? So she says 10. I went, fantastic. So she was absolutely thrilled. We've got a new client on board. What we also do as well, when we're working with the charities, they send us thank you letters. They might say this month we've raised X amount or Y amount. Those letters get put back onto our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. So we feed them back out to our audience to let them know that we're actually working with these charities. Last year, I was awarded an award of excellence from the Master Photographers Association for a Business Excellence Award for the best charity project, obviously working with the hospital. And we've raised thousands for them over the years. And people do come to us for these vouchers. And it's a lovely 3-generation portrait here. Now, the vouchers are actually worth around about $180, £150 for the gift cards. That's what it's worth if they were going to buy that from our shop. And obviously we have those products available on our product guide, so they can see the value of that product and they can buy those as extra products. We've got it on there as a bench point to actually show what the value of that is. And that's how it rolls.
Awesome. So again, you're giving them the gift of time, which is you.
Absolutely. Yes, so our studio time, our processing time with the images, editing, and obviously their time for ordering in the ordering session. That's our gift to them. Obviously, we do have people come to us and say, how can you give away so many vouchers or so many gift cards? I said, well, I'm gifting my time. You're gifting £25 or $30 to the charity as a charitable donation. It's win-win all the way around. They feel good for giving to the charity wins because obviously we're printing the vouchers. You get a lovely printed 300 GSM voucher. We're covering the cost of that for them. We get 500 or 1,000 vouchers printed at one time, and that will actually see us through a course of a number of months. And then we actually then contact local charities. Our letters that we've had from the other charities, we then show to other charities to say, look, this is who we've worked with before. Would you like to work with us? And that's the ideas we give for them. And then they come back to us to say how many charity vouchers they'd actually like.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow, that's a great community outreach through several different charities. Thank you very much. Lori, I'm going to pivot over to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to kind of piggyback on that actually, and hopefully some people can get some ideas on how to combine what I'm going to talk about and what David just talked about. But I actually came up with this when years ago when I just had so many people coming through my door asking for donations for different auctions. And I personally like to choose 3 to 5 large auctions that I do, hand select and create a large package for and have a big presence in. But I wanted to give something to everyone that made a difference. And so we came up with these cards, and mine are a little smaller than David's. But these are gift cards, and it actually says something like, I gotta read it. It just says, you've been gifted, and it's $100 studio credit, and it says, for you because you're special. So obviously these can be used for many different things. So we just had them made up and we can even hand them to people to give as gifts if we want to. But this works great for working with charities because we can give them to anyone, and it's basically a give and get kind of thing that they can offer. If you make an X size donation, you're going to get this with it. So we've provided this to lots and lots of different organizations over the years, and I mean these have been, and I have these little wallet boxes again from Marathon, and these little wallet boxes have my little label on the front with my studio information, but I can actually create a label for the charity if I'm going to use these in a kind of a bigger, better way. And so we can do the little crinkly paper in here with some mints or some chocolate and put the card inside of here. And I've had these available at tables on different charity events as a gift. It's like their little table gift as they leave, and everyone is taking home a gift from my studio. That we've done it in gift bags, gift bags at events, even just for open houses or awareness events for charities. I can offer this that they can put in all the bags. I do this as gifts for different vendors that are at different events. And so if a charity, for example, they're sponsored by this business, and this business, I can give those vendors gifts to give out to the people that are interacting with them. I've used these for realtors, gift stores, clothing stores, car dealerships, everything that you can imagine that they will actually give a little gift with a purchase or at an event that they have. And it's great to partner up with other businesses when we're working with charities, because then you've not only got the power of the charity, that organization, and when it comes down to it, their reach, their list, their newsletter, but you've also got the power of that other business. So if I'm partnered up with another business, for example, I mean, I've done this with everything from jewelry stores to car dealerships and everything else in between. But a great way to partner up with another vendor is to find out what matters to them. And so what charities are they supporting, and go in there and connect through that charity. And so it's another, this roundabout way where we're all supporting each other's businesses. we're getting involved together, we're lifting each other up. And I always want to think about, where are my target clients spending time and spending money? If they're spending time and spending money at a place, at an organization, at a business, whatever, charity, that's where their priorities are, and that's where I want to be. And so how can I connect with those other businesses? How can I connect with those other organizations? And a lot of these are tied together, right? So it's another reason why I love just choosing a local charity for different events, because again, community, it ties together. Also great to do national campaigns that have a name, like So Many Angels, or like the organization that Bert is heading up there. So lots of different ways that you can do these. But I've also even done this through a Christian radio station that was promoting a certain charity, and they gave away gift cards to my studio. And it's just a matter of having a stack of them at all times. You hear something that's going on, and you get to go in and support by saying, hey, I want to give a gift to every single person who donates through the radio station, through the car dealership, through whatever other business this is. So tying together with all these other things. So a way that you can do this right now in your areas is, first of all, look for needs. And I already talked about making sure that we just keep showing up. I think that's really, really important for us as small businesses, so that people, we're not 2 months from now, or however long this takes, we're not then saying, I want your business, where you been, so that we just keep showing up. And the ways that we can do that is really looking for needs in our community. And so, one of the ways that you can do that right now is just reaching out to these different organizations that are supporting local families in need. Look, they're supporting the healthcare workers, and either offering gift cards to them, that just to say thank you to these healthcare providers, to these essential businesses, right? So ways that we can support and keep our name in front of them. And these then turn into, later, as David said, they turn into clients. And it's just a simple little gift to get them connected to your business. And so just be aware, look for the needs, look for who's already giving, and ways that you can jump in and support whatever they're doing. And then I also right now, and I'll end with this, but I also right now have really been on a mission to connect with other local businesses. As was mentioned, lots of us are being shut down. It's not just us. We're not the only ones hurting. This is a leveler, what's happening right now. We're all in this together, Kay mentioned. And so I've been on a mission to connect with as many small businesses, and with small businesses, I'm talking about $1 million or less, okay? So not just single person photography organizations, but small businesses in our community. I've got a meeting on Tuesday, the 31st, and doing a Zoom call just like this, but we'll probably have about 100 local businesses on the call. And something like this is something that we're going to be talking about. And this is something that you as a photographer, be a leader in your community. Like, I've pulled all these people together just by reaching out. Everyone, no one's saying no. Like, yes, give me a way that we can stay connected and in front of people right now. So be a leader and do that. And so on this meeting on Tuesday, what I'm going to suggest is that we choose several charities and all of us donate something. I've got simple $100 gift cards, but all these businesses can donate either a gift card that's towards something, or they can donate a particular product that gets people in their stores 3 months from now, whatever, to pick it up. But we can all donate something to go into these gift packages, so to speak, to offer to these different community organizations that are already giving back. So looking for the needs, plugging in, tying people together, keep showing up, stay connected.
Awesome. Woohoo! Whoosh!
Right.
Awesome. Shawn, go ahead and hop in next.
All right, awesome stuff. Well, y'all got me nervous over here. Rock that. So listen, that was great stuff. It was great stuff from David and Bert. You guys got an amazing panel here with some amazing information. So here's what I have to offer. to everybody. My approach is a little bit different in that charity means love, right? And so approaching it from the standpoint that you want to become more than just a photographer or somebody who's looking to do business. You actually want to serve your community because you love your community. And so I came up kind of with this strategy of how I've gotten business in Detroit. And it's been from just authentically serving. And what I found out is when I did that, what happens is that people like people who they can relate to in some way, shape, or form. And when you serve the pain of people or you serve the pain of society, people like you. When you serve their pain and you help people, people want to be around you, they want to use you, and it tends to pay off for you on the back end. Now, here's the key to that. You can't be looking to get paid off. You have to help simply because it's just the right thing to do, right? So here's kind of what I came up with, right? I would say as a photographer, there are things that we as people are passionate about. Pick the thing that you're passionate about or the pain point that is within your society, within your community, maybe something you've suffered with in your family. An example of that is maybe you're a youth advocate, right? And so you want to do that. Maybe feeding the homeless is something that you're passionate about. Maybe helping out at women's shelters. And forget you being a photographer. Maybe you're just passionate about that because maybe there's been a family member that has gone through that and you're passionate about that. Pick the thing that you're passionate about and then serve that pain within your community, right? Within the community that you reside and then the community that you serve. So that's the one thing, pick your pain. Number two, how can you partner that pain with your photography brand to help solve the problem, right? So this means that as a photographer, what I'm asking you all to do is to put on the actual event. So not only pick the pain that you're passionate about, but as the person or the photographer or the business owner that resides in your community, you take on the brunt of the work and actually put on the event that solves the problem, right? It does a couple of things. One, it is you actually tangibly touching the problem and looking to solve it. And people actually see you in the community actually doing the work. That I think is just extremely important when you're talking about serving pain points and helping people. It's extremely important that people see you helping solve the problem or passionate or authentic about doing that work. So an example could be for how do you partner the pain that you're passionate about along with your photography brand? That could be, what if you decided to do free headshots to help battered women get jobs? Or maybe there was a model team that does give back by helping in soup kitchens, or whatever the case may be. Innovate a program that I think works for your community, your society, right? I know I'm keeping it really simple right now, but I think this is the thing that you do. This is the thing that I have done. For me, I think I told the story earlier or a little while ago that our youth, you know, in Detroit, when the school system started to take a dive, the art programs took a dive, we lost funding for all of that stuff. And so I'm very passionate about the success of youth and teenagers. And so what I decided to do was an IC Detroit photographic bus tour where we hired the Detroit Bus Company. They had buses, old cheese buses that they painted murals on, put Wi-Fi on, and we brought those kids from those failing school districts, put them on a bus, right? And we partnered with city officials and all of that kind of good stuff. And we took them downtown and made it an amazing event where not only did we serve the youth, but we brought attention to it, right? So they saw us helping youth, augmenting art, teaching them photography, but at the same time, highlighting the city of Detroit, right? And so what that did for me was open up business. Listen, this was not the intention, but what it did was it opened up business for me on a city level, right? Yeah. And so city officials were now looking for me to do work for the city of Detroit. I didn't intend on that happening, but money, rock that, right? Just from helping solve people. Let me tell you something. People want to see kids successful, and people don't like the idea of kids failing. And if you become the advocate for the thing that people love, money, I'm gonna tell you right now, hottest stuff on the planet, money. All right, let me keep going. I'm sorry, I done got all excited and whatnot. Rock that. So here, so part three, number three. I would say bring in as many outside but relevant entities as you can to help execute, right? It gives you a great reputation with them as well. So, for example, when we did the youth thing, I partnered with the Detroit Bus Company, right? We use Detroit stuff like Better Made Chips, which is a Detroit brand, Fago Pop, which is a Detroit brand. When we did swag bags and all of that stuff, we sourced them all from Detroit. So we brought attention to everything Detroit at that time. Everybody loves everything Detroit, especially, and you guys might have seen the shirts like Detroit versus everybody. That's how everybody in Detroit feels about Detroit, right? And so when we helped youth and brought attention to Detroit and did all of that stuff, it made everybody feel great. It made everybody feel good. And what it did for me as a business was people was like, Shawn, we want to work with Shawn. We don't even want to work with nobody else. We don't care what your business is. We don't care how long you've been around. We working with Shawn. That money, you can't buy that stuff, right? You can't buy that stuff at all, right? So that's how I would advise you all do that. One, pick the pain point, right? That you're passionate about. Two, partner that pain that you're passionate about with what you do as a career and a business, and use it and find a way to innovate and serve society and solve that pain, right? Three, bring in as much outside help as you can, partner with as many entities as you can that also make them look good. And then four, do the event, plan it, do the event. It is extremely important that you do the event, not lean on somebody else, right? It's important that people see you hands-on, passionate about the pain that you are passionate about, because people love people who love people. Money, rock that.
All right.
Right, rock that. And what happens is that when people don't need a photographer 100% of the time. They just don't. But what you'll find is when they do need a photographer, you will be the first person that they think about, just by solving pain points, right? It will make you unbelievably popular within your community. People will absolutely love you, and they will authentically want to do real work with you.
I love it. I love it, Shawn. And I can see why you're so good at what you do, because you are very passionate about it. And this is really all tying in together very well. I'm going to pass the mic because I want to make sure that we get Matt and Karen going. Maddie, this is really feeds right into what you do. Tell us about how you're involved with your own particular charity.
So Many Angels, I formed a little over 2 years ago. And like I said earlier, we take photos of kids with cancer and transform them into whatever they want to be when they grow up. A couple of the canvases are behind me. There's Maverick, Luke, and Mabin, the astronaut. And what we do is we give them the experience. So it's not just about the picture at the end. Everybody wants to sell, as a photography, as a business person, you want to sell that wall art, but that's the product that we give the families. So even though we take maybe 30 photos, 50 photos of their kids, they get one photo. And what I've got so many new notes written up here on the computer. Be very specific about your offer. We are very specific. We only show that one photo from the session. We have not had one family out of over 100 say, where are the rest of the photos? Because we make it very clear you're getting one, and hopefully it's going to look like a movie poster. And that's what they get. A couple other things I wanted to do is talk about the virus that's going on. And I want to try to get some little tricks that I've worked on my brain and my head that have helped me, that hopefully, if it just helps one person, change the wording of I have to I get to. Sometimes I wonder when I wind up on a panel like this or whatever, what am I doing with these people that have been in the industry and so much more experience and done so much? Why am I with them? I don't even care anymore. I don't ask myself anymore. Then I see Shawn go and do Shawn's thing, and it's like, instead of I have to follow Shawn, no, it's I get to follow Shawn. So Shawn's woke everybody up, and I get to go now. A couple other things I do. I like a couple hashtags. Be your own biggest fan. If you believe in yourself, you can get others to buy in sometimes. But if you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else want to believe in you? Believe in yourself. The other one, kind of what Shawn says also, is stop justing. When I'm at a conference, if I hear you say, I'm just a landscaper, I'm just a newborn photographer, I'm going to jump on you and say, stop justing. Say, I am a newborn photographer. I am. Own it. Nobody cares. I guess now would be a good time to say to those homemakers, housewives to stay home, house husbands to stay home. I don't think anybody's ever going to say, oh, she's just a housewife anymore. She just stays home with her kids after this. So let's get rid of those notes. A couple of I want to do my 3 R's. This has given me the opportunity. We won't be photographing any kids for a while. We're probably not going to photograph any kids either 30 to 60 days, even after we get this all clear, whatever the all clear means, because we're working with at-risk kids. These kids are at risk before the virus. They are at risk all the time because of the treatments they get. But what we're taking this opportunity, excuse me, we're going to refocus, reorganize, and recommit. We're going to look at the things that this was going to be our big year, our jump out, our breakout year, and it ain't happening. That's just not, and that's the way it is. So what we are doing is I am reaching out to the charities that we partner with to photograph kids with. They find the kids, they schedule the kids. We try to get them to do a little bit of work for us so we don't have to spend hours doing that. Plus, these charities already know the children that we're photographing. So it makes the transition of the kid showing up who may not want to be there. It might be in treatment. We're not just sticking a camera in front of their face and saying, hey, so reach out to charities right now, see what you can do. Do not limit your charitable work to photography. Like Shawn said, there's so many other things you can do to help people that do not involve photography. Just look, open your eyes, search around for things. So these are a couple other ideas. Some might be obvious, some might not be so obvious. Find an organization that needs help telling their story. If you see that a local food pantry has just photos of canned food on the shelves, they need help. Ask how you can work with them to tell the real story of what they do. Maybe show the faces of hunger. You want people's attention. You want to evoke emotion. You want viewers to feel something. Find a nearby animal rescue organization. Ask if they need photos of adoptable pups and kitties, or horses or lizards or birds or whatever they do. Fun photos of animals playing, interacting with humans, things like that. Look for stories local to you of families that have lost everything due to a fire, flood, tornado, hurricane, or some other tragedy. Maybe they've lost photos also. Offer them a photo session, give them some new treasures. Find a way to reach out to them. Social media is awesome, but if you do something like this, please be very conscious of the timing. You don't want to contact people right after they've had a hurricane come through or tornado. Maybe even research through their Facebook feed if you can find them, and see if there's a family member. Hey, cousin, my sister's having trouble. Do it that way. Search through them and go through a third party to let them know that that's an opportunity that you'd like to offer them. Also, search crowdfunding sites like GoFundMe for people in nearby and situations you think might benefit. Again, don't limit yourself to photography. Yes, the people on the sites are asking for money, but sometimes they might not even really know what they're asking for or what they need, so they just ask for money. That happens a lot with us. How can we help so many angels? Well, right now, you can't. We are looking for editors right now. Go to the website, go to get involved if you're got to be a pretty good editor, but we're looking for them. Also, look for organizations that have 5Ks, half marathons, marathon walks, whatever. collaborate with them on how to spread the message, how to highlight participants, volunteers, partners, and sponsors. Find already established photography-related nonprofits, Flashes of Hope, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, or So Many Angels. The last thing is, I heard this quote, and it says, when a fascination begins to be something that you actually want to gain mastery in, and you're willing to fight past the boredom, that's when something becomes a passion. And so basically you need to ask yourself, what is the work that you can't not do?
Good stuff. Hey, again, mic drop. Awesome. Perfect, Matt. Thank you very much, Matty. And Matt's going to put his information. Let's make sure we put your organization in the Facebook information, so those of us that have listened know how to contact you to help with the editing and the things that you're looking for. Karen, we've got time for you to share with us your breast cancer charitable organization that you're working with.
Okay. Well, there's some good stuff here. A lot of powerful stuff. My project that I'm going to tell you about is something that we can maybe work on now in some downtime. You can start putting some, making some planning here. But what I started photographing breast cancer survivors in 2008. A friend of mine's sister was diagnosed, and, initially as a photographic artist, my plan was just to create an exhibit of breast cancer survivors that we could put out in the community and just raise awareness to the disease. So that's initially what I thought. But of course, over the years, we've been doing this since 2008, it just grew like crazy. But we did create a nonprofit in 2009 called Focused on a Cure, and we had that about 10 years. We actually raised and donated $335,000 to our community. So, that's probably one of the best things I've ever done. But, you can decide whether you want to just raise awareness or you want to raise funds for a charity. So, you could go with the Susan G. Komen, entity, or you could go with the American Cancer Society, or you could photograph Down syndrome children. It's just like Shawn said, pick your passion and then just go for it. So, obviously we can't photograph breast cancer survivors now, but we can put a plan in place for when it is okay to start photographing again. And, what we did was we showcased our survivor portraits at an annual event, because then, we started raising money. So we called it Pigging Out for Pink. And it was basically, a huge event with 300 people. And we had, sponsors that donated. We had, live auctions and silent auctions and just all kinds of things. But mainly it was a reveal for the cancer survivors. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we can do now while we're down. You can reach out to your charity and, decide on your project, figure out where you want to put your passion. You can plan your strategy. How will you reach out to these survivors? How will you find your survivors to photograph? We can contact friends, we can contact family, we can use all of social media, that kind of thing. But we can do that now, and we can put these plans, just start planning. And so then when we are ready to go, we already have everything set up. So you can call your breast cancer centers, and a lot of times they'll have, we'll call them and say, do you know anybody that we can photograph and tell their story? And they'll say, oh my gosh, I know this girl, her incredible story. You got to hear this, how she found out about her, her cancer and her journey and what she did. So that's a really, a good place to look too. You can ask people to nominate somebody, to be photographed. And these are, these are 20-year survivors or survivors that were just diagnosed. And, breast cancer survivors, it's all the same story, but they're all different too. So it's amazing once you realize somebody tells you have cancer, the things you feel and learn and how you change and what you do. So something like that. You could also choose how many survivors you want in your exhibit. We usually went with 12. So we tried to photograph 12 survivors and create, you know, a beautiful portrait that had their story and their photographed together on one image that was designed. You could collect your stories now and start figuring out how you want to photograph these people creatively. You know, something in their story will trigger how you want to photograph them and reflect their story. Be sure to let them know there is no cost to this. You know, there's no session fee. You don't have to buy portraits. This is all about telling your story. Now, obviously, you know, we would always ask them, do you want to come back in and look at your images? And actually, these images are very near and dear to them, and they're very emotional about it. And generally, most folks came in, looked at their images, and wanted to purchase something. And we did give them like a 35% discount. Hold on, I got to take a drink. Mouth's dry. Sorry about that. But the main thing too is, you know, if you're going to do a reveal for your exhibit, if you're planning a reveal, you can decide, okay, where am I going to put this? Am I going to use, is it going to be huge? Is it going to be small? Is it just going to be for the survivors themselves and their families? Because they're seeing this portrait that you designed and created for the very first time at the reveal. So you can decide, you know, if you want to do it in your own studio, you could do that. It's a good way to get people in your studio. And it's kind of exciting because they're coming in and they're seeing what you created for the very first time. You know, you can do what we did, and you can bring sponsors on, and you can make it a huge event. You know, so figure out where you'd want to have your reveal, figure out your space, call this, you know, these folks and bring in other businesses to be incorporated with it. Decide if you want to do fundraising or if you want to just bring awareness. If you want to do fundraising, do you want to fundraise all year, or do you want to just have one big event and raise money for your charity? So it's, you know, there's a lot of different options, but these are all things I think, you know, that we can be working on now. We raised, we did our fundraising all year. And then in January, we'd take all our funds that we raised and we would donate in January. And a couple of those things that we did to raise money, of course, we did Pigging Out for Pink, which was our main fundraiser. And then we did a ladies' night out where I contacted an upscale salon and we partnered together. We had all kinds of lady vendors, you know, jewelry and 31 and, you know, just all kinds of different vendors that would be, you know, at this ladies' night out. The ladies got hair and makeup. I know, guys, this is not like really exciting for you, but a woman loves hair and makeup. So we would have them, and then any of the vendors would give us 10% of anything they sold that night. The ladies would pay $25 to come in to the ladies' night. I would photograph them, and then they would have, you know, a Facebook profile picture or something for LinkedIn or whatever they wanted to do, but they looked good because they had their hair and makeup done. Something else we did was smoking butts for boobs. And a friend of mine.
What?
Smoking butts for boobs. So basically a friend of mine, you know, bought he donated like 60 butts and he smoked them and we would sell them. So we, you know, the meat was free, luckily, but when we sold them for $35, we usually did. No, butts, smoked butt, pork.
Oh, butts!
Barbecue, girl. So we smoked butts for boobs. But anyway, and we would do like $1,300, you know, we would do it at Christmas time and people would come pick up their butts and, girl, you need to get some smoked butt. Seriously. Sorry about that. I'm a redneck. I'm so sorry. But anyway, so these are all things, you know, you can start finding your survivors. You can start deciding if you want to raise money and see it, you know, what are you going to do to fundraise? You know, you can locate other businesses that want to partner with you, figure out, you know, all the logistics of it right now while you have downtime, you know. Good. And you know, and once you have your exhibit done, you know, what I did was I called the library, I called the mall, I called different doctor's offices. I called the cancer center and asked them if they would display my exhibit for a month at a time. So, you know, for the next 6 months, my images are out around town. You're bringing awareness. You're talking about your cause. You're showing people that, you know, that you're for the community. The greatest thing, I think the biggest gift of all for me was meeting these survivors, you know, and if you've been diagnosed with cancer, I've had this in my family myself, you change and you think about what life is about and how it's changed your life and how the little things don't matter. And these women, we actually had 2 men in our exhibit and we just added every year. So we have 105 20 by 24 medals, and H&H is such the bomb. They donated so much for us. But, you know, this is part of them and they feel very strongly about it to tell their story and help others. It's a way to give back for them.
Karen, that's awesome. I think one thing that I hope everybody who's listening can hear better than I could, because I wasn't sure what Karen was talking about, but that was awesome. There's a very obvious level of passion to every single thing that each of the panelists have brought to this. And it is something that as photographers, we're kind of feely kind of people. You know, my mom said once that I used my heart before I saw with my eyes. And I think that holds true with all photographers. We are very emotionally charged individuals. And at a time now when, you know, we do need to be aware of gifting time and we need to be aware that we are better together to be able to share this information. And hopefully something from each of the panelists will spark something in your own mind and urge you to go about and do something in your community. Just be aware that everything that each of us have talked about today, we're all in different stages of lockdown and we're in different stages of social distancing. So whatever you do, don't put yourself and or your family and or your clients in harm's way by doing something that would breach that that level of protectiveness from the COVID, from the virus. Use this time wisely. And I'm going to just real quick comment, Shawn, I believe it was you who said it doesn't necessarily have to be photography related. Yesterday, I went down to a garden. It's a community garden, and I harvested vegetables. It had nothing to do with photography. It was just, I was giving of my time to something completely different from photography. And that made me feel good. It was kind of a breath of fresh air. So as we're kind of winding down, I'm looking on to see if there's any major questions. I think Ronan's back with us now. Again, Ronan, I want to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do this. Lori, for your great ideas, and David, Shawn, Bert, also Karen and Matt. It was neat to see how many of these things intertwined together. They were individual, but yes, they also came together for a common goal. So I think that's an exciting thing for us to have done today. Thank you.
Hey, I'm delighted to see that you're not the only one who got your hair done today. I see Howard dyed his hair blonde. No.
Yeah.
Hi, Howard. Look, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for what you've done tonight, the stories you've shared. And there's 3 main messages that I got out of tonight. And the first one is, and we've heard this on some of the other panels too, is that we've got to keep showing up now. But you can use charity to show up now. And as Kay just said, it doesn't have to be about photography. Matt said the same. Just keep showing up, be a leader in your community. The second thing, when you choose your charity, you've got to be passionate about it too.
Yep.
So you've got to connect with it and you've got to be passionate about it, because your passion will show through for that charity. There's been a question also that was given, was, you know, do you do this quietly or do you do this for publicity? You do it for your passion first. I think everyone has said that tonight. But as Bert said, you know, only by being in business can you give more. So you're creating with charity win-win-win for the charity, for the person who you're helping through that charity, and of course then you're helping yourself. And the more you do, And the more you earn in your business, the more you can give back in charity. And the third piece for me, I think, is Laurie touched on this, and she absolutely explained it beautifully, in that the ideal is if you can also find a charity that your ideal client is associated with. Now you're creating win-win-win. You're creating so many wins. So thank you so much, guys. I love you so much. You've helped loads of people with wonderful ideas. And for me, just charity is just, it's right here. It's part of me. And I can see that in you guys. You're exploding with it. So I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all very much for your
you.
time.
Bye, guys. Have a
a
good
great day.
weekend.
God bless
Stay
everybody.
safe.
Bye.
Part of this community. Thank you.